typically a regular lunge can work fine here. But I'll review that when we get there. 10 per side. Forearm plank toe taps. It's not as weird as it sounds. You're gonna be in a forearm plank and you're gonna kick your leg out to the side 10 times per side, but I'll demonstrate that. And then 10 per side plank crunches, which I think we did last week. So those should feel familiar, but again, will demonstrate. Okay, for the middle piece, we have 5 times through 5 per side Bulgarian split squats, just like 2 weeks ago. If you are able to increase load, great. If you're not, let's try and either match or increase complexity. So start holding the weight higher up on the body. So on the shoulder, or carry 2 weights instead of 1, that sort of thing, if that's a possibility for you. And then to finish, we have 3 times through 10 per leg. Reverse lunge into a bicep curl. The bicep curl is a bonus. That's sort of just like a motor control drill. If you're lunging with a heavy weight and you can't bicep curl it, that's okay. You can just stick with the reverse lunge. 10 glute bridges and 10 push-ups, or push-up practice-y things. Let's just do a quick round warm-up, cat-cows, bird dogs, 90-90s, the usual business. I'll also do this as well, but you can kind of go through this at your own pace. Approximately 10 reps each. These guys, so about feet shoulder width apart, jumping off to the side. Or I'd say any kind of hip opener of your choice, right? This one's super gentle. We're not looking for an extreme stretch. Lovely. So what we'll do is I'm going to review the movements, just give you a visual on all of them. And then if we need to make any adjustments, you can either DM me or I'll kind of just give you a few suggestions if that needs to be the case. So ultimately, right, the first one are curtsey lunges. All that means is when instead of stepping back into a traditional reverse lunge step or back step lunge, like we've done before, I'm going to go ahead and I'll keep the camera actually at my feet here. So instead of stepping back, normally at hip width, I'm actually going to bring my foot across. I can bring just my knee. The farthest I'm going to go is my knee joint at the edge of this ankle, right? So you kind of see a little peak here, right? I'm not going so far where the knee joint passes the back of my front ankle, okay? So I'm not looking for anything too far, right? This kind of loads the side of my hip, right? So a little more kind of here, emphasis on the side of the hip and the glute, across. Back knee does not need a touch, right? Okay. We're gonna do, what I say, 10 alternating, right? If you preferred 5 per direction, I'm fine with that. You don't need to go switch sides if that feels like a balance thing, okay? Otherwise, straight back is fine. A forearm plank toe tap. So again, 10 per side. Forearm plank, I think goes without saying. When I do forearm planks, I keep my hands separate, not together. So my hands are kind of here. And the toe tap part is just, right? I think of like a horizontal 2-step. I mean, it's a funny idea, but it's literally 1, 2, like literally I'm stepping out to the side. That's it. Simple, right? And then followed by 10 per side plank, either hold, option 1, leg lift is option 2, and then the crunch is kind of your third variation. So side plank, shoulder, elbow stay stacked. My hips are gonna come towards you, the camera. And then either a hold, okay, leg lifts, or crunch. If you're doing a hold, let's plan for 20 to 30 seconds-ish. And let's make your way through round 1 of these. If you need to adjust something, you have questions, you need to make the lunges, body weight squats, that's fine. Okay, go ahead when you're ready. And it's okay, just like anything else, making your lunges, in this case, a curtsey lunge, find your balance first. If you need near a wall, something you can hang on to, that's okay. And your range of motion might differ, right? Meaning you don't go as low where a knee doesn't touch the ground if you normally do, and that's okay. You can bring your feet back together, Trudy, right? So instead of keeping the feet apart, you can bring them back together. Okay? Yeah, exactly. If you can tolerate it, you can go farther across, right? That's it. Yeah, obviously, if you can tolerate it, it's the kind of the key, right? There's a sweet spot between kind of being a normal stance directly behind and slightly over. And the behind actually, I find is a lot harder, like if you're on a balance beam. That slight crossover of your foot, or like ankle to ankle, if you will, can, not always, feel more balanced. I will say though, for some people, this can exaggerate knee discomfort. So if that's the case, please make the choices that work for you. And then we have 10 per side. The side is your foot, right? So we need to reduce the volume. You can make it 6 to 8 reps, steps per side. Oh, thank you. You have more coffee? Sorry, talking to Nikki.
Yes.
Not asking the 3 of you for more coffee. That'd be a really long way for Trudy to come and get me coffee. Also an odd way to start a in-person relationship.
She shows up at the doorstep.
I would ask you out for coffee. I feel like that feels a lot better. It feels more equal. No, I was like to Nikki for coffee. More coffee.
Kirstie, these side planks were a long-lasting gift last week.
Were they?
Yes, they were.
I mean, so all joking aside, yeah, I mean, they're great. I'm a big fan of a side plank. I've sort of, it's been top of mind because it's part of my PT. But also, yeah, I'm learning to appreciate them a little more. I think planking, just regular forearm plank like we've been doing and stuff is not a bad thing. I think it's a great teaching tool. But if we're going to stay in the plank family, the side plank is an interesting thing. It's an interesting shape to play with. I don't know. So hopefully this week the gift is maybe lasts a little less long. Maybe it's just a short gift. Oh,
it was good. Yes, it's like I did my strength this week. I feel it.
Thank you. Fresh home.
Anybody else?
Thanks, Nikki. You're the best.
We'll just pour it through the computer and I'll just. Yeah. Yeah, and again, this is a pretty recent, I guess, development. I relearned a side plank is not just like, a lateral oblique lat engagement piece. Like it involves your glutes and everything else. I was like, huh, really? Yeah. You need to elevate your hands, by the way, for any of these kind of the forearm elements. So the forearm plank toe taps, that kind of lateral step to the side. Elevating your hands a little bit can also make that less challenging, right? Good. Because I think for some people, getting into the forearm plank is the hard part. So by elevating the elbows, 18, 20 inches, can actually make that much less sticky if you feel so inclined. And if you feel inclined, you can always do the little hand position for the curtsey lunges. Like you curtsey, actually can't. Like if you're holding up a dress to actually curtsey. But you could also wear one if you feel so inclined, Maxine. We wouldn't know. You can have a ball gown down there. You never know.
Work on that. Yeah.
I feel like that's a lot though. Ball gowns don't feel very practical.
No, but maybe one of those, like, those little
Cool ones.
tutu things.
Yeah. I used to wear my old ballet costumes after, when the recital was done, and didn't have to be a little bumblebee anymore. I could just wear the little thing around I just wore, I destroyed them. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah.
But I kept my costumes and
yeah, you're right.
As one does. You wouldn't know it, but when I was a kid, I had long hair. I wanted to be a princess. I was very on the femme end of things.
Wow.
I know. That was weird. Clearly things have changed. Put me in a suit over a dress. But
you had a moment. Yeah.
I was okay. I mean, not a Billy Porter suit, although I do respect the tuxedo ball gown thing.
Oh yeah.
That was a good one.
That's pretty amazing.
I also like the one where he was he like and he was like carried into Met Gala, but like
I didn't
in
see
gold,
that.
just like, anyway.
I'm gonna have to look that up.
Yeah, he was carried in by like 8 beautiful men and just on this like lounger, just like
Amazing.
very Cleopatra. That was what I imagined Cleopatra would be like. Anyway,
That Met Gala is wild.
yeah.
Okay.
I mean, I appreciate it. I was like, that's a lot of work to
Yeah.
look effortless. I'm not sure I mean, I could do that, but I appreciate people who can.
Yeah.
That's not me. Nice work, y'all. 3 times through. Once you have that 3rd time through, your final set of side plank holds, leg lifts, or crunches. Again, that hold can be 20 to 30 seconds. If you need to break it up, you can break it up. And you may, of course, as it goes, you are allowed, in fact, encouraged to take breaks between things, sides, for movements, sets, whatever you need. Oh, wow. Yeah, Trudy, I told Maxine about Listen for the Lie, or Listen for the Lie. So I was like, you should read that. It's not escapism, but it's interesting enough that I felt like I got into it. I enjoyed it. I was also telling her that my friend doesn't surprise easily in things, in books. And she was like, oh, okay. Twist, plot twist.
Oh, okay. I'm gonna have to read it.
Yeah,
I
it's
love a
fun.
good,
Like, it's a
I
fun
love a
read.
good plot twist.
It's not Emily Henry fun, but
Right.
I found it enjoyable anyway.
Yeah.
I can't think of the movie, but if you look up Edward Norton's IMDb, it's like one of his first films. Similar, I mean, he plays someone who is convicted of murder again, on that theme, and Richard Gere takes on his case as a pro bono lawyer, and that is also a fascinating film. It's a terrible name. It's like called like Primal Fear or something or whatever.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Like terrible name, but the movie you're just like, no. At the end you're like, what? Brain, right? In a good way. It was like really, I was like mind blown. I was like, okay, well done. Yeah, Edward Norton, highly underrated in my opinion.
Seriously, yeah, I agree.
I think he sounds particular about his roles because he doesn't take everything.
Yeah.
So now that we've completed the extensive warm-up, we have the Bulgarian split squats or whatever squat variation you've been doing. If you have the ability and the chance to back squat, congratulations. We don't here, at least I don't. So we're gonna go ahead and just play with different shapes, different loading patterns. And all that is to say, we're keeping the same rep scheme, 5 sets of 5 reps per leg, or whatever you did last week. But we're gonna kind of try and add complexity, add load, maybe, if that feels appropriate. But complexity, okay, I realize I'm not lifting my back leg, but for the sake of demonstration here, we're focusing on my upper body. So you can imagine my legs lifted for a second. When I say adding complexity, maybe instead of carrying one weight next to you, maybe we're carrying it here. Yeah, so you're supposed to squat here. Maybe you're carrying 1 or 2 weights here, right? So by adding or increasing the height of your weight and when you're carrying it, you don't have to go here. This is an exaggeration. This becomes more complicated in terms of how the weight feels. Or maybe you switch hands. So if you go opposites, right? So I'm using 1 dumbbell here, but if you had 2, maybe you add 1. You can kind of just want to play with this, and it's okay to not commit to that change, basically. So ultimately we have right back leg. So if I were to change this with 1 dumbbell, I normally go this way. I'll go this way because I don't normally do this. Back leg is on my couch on whatever, or if you have a stool or foot down on the ground, Then I'm gonna go ahead and do my 5 reps. This feels okay, nothing crazy, right? So I might add another weight because I have 2 of them. If you're inclined, I might carry my weight at my chest because that can be a little more challenging, or carry 2 of my weights here. But let's find the split squat variation you were doing, and then play with increasing complexity or load. Okay, and you may rest. In fact, I want rest. If you have a timer, a clock, your Garmin, whatever. I want at least 4 to 5 seconds of rest after your second, like after between sets. So right, left, rest 4 to 5 seconds, minimum. If increasing complexity is a bad idea, stick with what you did before and try and make that feel better. Good. Yeah, ball of the foot or top of the foot, whatever you like, Trudy. That back leg position or that back foot position is relative to your comfort. I just happen to go top of my foot on the box because I like to. A little step stool here, by the way, is legit as well, right? Meaning we'll fold that one a couple inches. Good. Nice shot.
Chair is too high.
It looks like a gaming chair.
Oh, it's a gaming chair.
Yeah, it looks like a gaming chair.
Yeah, oh, there you go.
Does it come with a gaming computer? Question, because those are interesting.
Well, this is a TV with
Okay.
PS5.
I think that's better. I respect the TV over like the gaming computer with like the red outline and the that's just, I don't know. At least a television you can use for something else.
Yeah, I'm standing between the bikes here, so all the things happen in this space.
It's better that it's not in the house.
Yeah. I'm dog free, kid free, distraction free.
That's fair. Although I feel like dog free is not so bad. I feel like
No.
dogs are.
We love Eddie. We love to see Eddie.
I like when his tail just.
He's,
Here.
he came and woke me up this morning. I was like, well, at least he didn't put his nose on my face. I think I would lose it if he did that.
I'm grateful that I haven't had many pets, but I'm grateful that all the animal companions I have had in my life opt to sleep at my feet, not on my face. I have friends who are, I would say, not so lucky, where they just cat sleeps on head, and you're like, which sounds like a cute idea at first until you're like, oh.
Ranger likes to come in and like snuggle, like put his head into my face in the middle of the night. But then he'll like move away a little bit, calm down.
That's an appropriate level of like,
Yeah, he's like, "Ah, I love you. Wake up.
okay, bye.
Okay, I'm gonna go sleep now."
I just get a cat walking on me in the morning. She's like, oh,
Oh,
were you
nice.
sleeping?
I
Which I'm
don't
okay
care.
with. I don't mind. And then if I don't, because I will pretend not to hear her.
Yeah, they know.
Uh,
They know.
They know, but I can actually go back to sleep where Nikki can't.
Okay.
I'm not going back to bed now. She'll just sleep next to me and she's like, fine, okay, just sleep here then.
Oh,
I'll wait until you wake up. I'll be right here, just in case you wake up. Because
right,
Yeah.
right
Are we
here.
doing 3 sets of 5?
you're doing 5 sets of 5.
Jesus.
If you need to bring the volume down, Trudy, and you need to do less,
No,
That's
I'm
okay.
just a complainer and I don't like these, but
they're mean.
they're good for me.
Actually, I will say, all joking aside, I used to be in the same camp. I thought these were the worst things in the world. I hated them. Anything with an Eastern European name. I was like, no, that's never a good sign. Like, that doesn't mean it's a nice thing, right? You're like, Bulgarian split squats don't sound friendly, do they? Right? But
Romanian
Royal,
bed breakfast.
no. do not sound. But what I will say is, I have come to appreciate them, and actually, I won't say I enjoy them. I think that's a strong statement. I don't hate them though. But that's also where like resting between sets comes into play, where you can kind of just like put your weights down. And the resting just means not lifting. So for people who can't sit still, fidget, dance, whatever, just don't lift. That's the rule, basically. A rule of thumb. But yeah, they're hard. Well, my goal is it makes life less hard, and running less hard, and biking less hard. Not so much swimming, because you don't kick when you swim, generally, if you're a triathlete. I've been told. I don't know a lot, but I've been told by swimmers, people who swim, that triathletes don't kick.
I don't kick as much in a wetsuit.
Well, also, right, you have 2 other sports to complete, right?
Yeah.
Whereas if all you're doing is swimming, that's different.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Feeling these. God. Whoops.
So is your phone. Your phone's like,
Yep. Phone's
"It's so
over it.
hard. Take a break."
Now I don't remember if I've done 4 or 5.
Honestly, not critical. This is something where because we've potentially, if it increased complexity, difficulty, whatever, 4 sets of 5 is fine. It's enough. And if your body says it's enough, it's okay to listen to that brain. If you did like 1 of 5, I'd be like, really? 1 of 5? Okay, cool. 4 of 5 is fine. Right?
And I feel
Here's
like
what we can.
I just remember. What's everybody else on?
Well, Trudy's done. So
Okay, so it might be done.
I
yeah,
have one more, but I'm gonna sneak it in while we all talk.
that's all right. I mean, 25 reps, right? Which per leg in this case, is not, technically speaking, an exorbitant amount, right? Like if you did 25 work, like 5 by 5 on a back squat, totally within a reasonable volume. But again, that's relative to the person. I had to do speed squats yesterday because I had like 15 minutes to turn things around. I was like, great, cool. I'm warmed up. Let's go. I just like
Wow.
a minute squatted and I was like, cool, check. Okay. Turns out when you squat, not after an hour and a half VO2 max effort, your legs feel so much better. Shocking.
So weird.
Weird, right?
Yeah.
I was like, God, my legs don't feel good. I'm squatting much less. And I was like, ow. Like my legs weren't sore. They just felt like flat.
Yeah.
Like there was no upper limit. Like nothing was going harder. I was like, this is what you get. You're welcome. Okay, so let's talk about this final piece. So we have more reverse lunges, which I think in retrospect might be a lot. Okay, so what I want to present to you as an option, right, is, right, you can in fact do reverse lunges. I realize we've done 2 single leg variations already. This is a 3rd. Okay, and if that feels like 1 step too many, great, we can switch that up. Let me talk about it as written, and I'll give you an alternative to your first piece, which is 10 per leg, reverse lunge steps with a bicep curl. So the idea with this, it's more of a motor control drill than it is a lunge drill. Okay, so we're timing this. So you're kind of stepping back and curling at the same time. That's what we're focusing on, is timing. The lunge is just one piece of that timing. I have a whopping 10 pounds here. My bicep curl is comical, frankly. At least I think it's funny compared to my compound lifts. So if you need to grab a full bottle of water, can of beans, something that just gives you something to hold on to, it's perfectly fine here. So essentially what I'm doing here, okay, here, so I'm going to show you my halfsies. So as I step behind me, I think about this for you here, I'm going to curl. So curling typically means palms forward. Yeah. If you prefer a hammer curl, that's thumbs forward. Yeah. So this way versus this way. That's fine. Okay. The bicep curl itself, we're keeping the shoulders stable and just moving, right, the hand up. Okay, simple enough. If that means, are you doing this and you start to feel this back here, right? Either let's go down and wait, right? But it's right, we're just getting the bicep, and also it's good for elbow health unless you have some elbow stuff going on. So gives you a good pump, but it's good for your elbows as well. So as I'm stepping back, I'm also bringing my hand up. So without weight, this is my bicep curl hand. I'm going to step back and then back down, right? The timing wise, it's sort of simultaneously happening. Again, the lunge is more just a piece of this. So if 10% feels like a lot, do 5. Stepping back, curl, curl. If you're a hammer curl, I'm fine with that too. I'm less fussed about which version of the curl you do. If you need to do it unweighted first, just to find your timing, I'm okay with that. Let's do 5 to 10 per side. So you can do 10 per side, 20 total, or 5 per side, and do 10 total, meaning you can reduce volume. That's what I'm saying. Good, let's try that first. Yeah, there you go. So you've done a lot of single leg work. So your balance, hopefully, fingers crossed, feels confident. So we're focusing on timing. Good. Again, I gave you the option for 5 or 10 per leg. Don't want to keep that elbow in, Carrie. So don't worry about like tucking the elbow in, just keeping the shoulder down. That's more important, right?
Shoulder down.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, if this helps, that's fine. We don't have to correct to the point where the hand starts to come in and the shoulder comes forward.
Okay.
Right? So you can also kind of feel like a posterior shoulder exercise because that starts to work a little bit too, as well as the bicep.
I'm grabbing a lighter weight that might be impacting my form.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, the bicep curl, all joking aside, is not a compound movement. I mean, I know we're lunging, but the purely bicep curl is just sort of a nice thing, we're like focusing on the bicep or the elbow. And so the weight necessary to get the response needed, typically for me, I will say, is much less than my ego would tell me. Take your time with those other side. We're gonna go ahead and continue with 10 glute bridges. Okay, so this is sort of a hip opener. If you prefer a good morning, so a standing variation would be, so this is a not glute bridge, right? But this you don't want to lay down. Hands behind the head, stretch here, squeeze your butt to open the hips, right? Otherwise, you can lay down and do 10 glute bridges. These are, okay, so if you have a standing variation and a laying down variation, the laying down variation, butt squeezed, lift, but same hip movement, okay? Same engagement, there you go. And that good morning could be as gentle as you need. If you feel that stretch reflex of your hamstring, great. If you don't, that's also okay. We don't need to go any farther. Keeping this movement horizontal, back and forth, not up and down with your chest. Followed by 10 total push-ups. You may break these up. You can elevate your hands. You can use your knees, whatever.
Sorry.
That's okay. Don't worry about it.
I do this.
We're going for a roller coaster ride. Get the butt squeezed, even with the knees bent, which I actually think is harder, personal. Good. That was round 1. You have potentially 2 more rounds. I will say to 6:44 on my clock. So,
Okay.
or sorry, California time. I realize, you know, not mountain time. Yeah, so yeah, the leg that's stepping back is the leg I like to, the hip I'm opening. So is otherwise it gets a little cramped in there. Nice job.
I always have to stop and think about that.
Yeah, I had to think about it for a second. I was like, oh no, I know how to do this, but like explaining or teaching, I was like, wait, what do I want them to do? I know what I want to do. And also I find like you can do it the same side. I just find that then my knee and hand start to, I don't know.
Not same side? I thought we were doing same side. I'm messing this
So
up.
yeah, no, that's correct. So if you, yep, there you go.
Okay, that's what I was, okay, good. We're good. You know,
It's okay to play with it. If you want to try to the side, try it. See what happens. Like there's, I don't think like, I don't see why that'd be a problem, but I just prefer to set up.
Kirstie, quick question.
Yes.
If the front of my knee, the low of my kneecap is a tiny bit sore, have I done something a little goofy, maybe too much?
Could
Or
be. If it's a little sore, a little cranky, we can change this, right? Because the idea, like I said, is the lunges in this particular thing we're doing now is meant to be a timing motor control drill, not, it's sort of a side effect
yeah,
as opposed to the main focus. So if we need to give the knees a break, because I might just need a break,
yeah,
you can instead bicep curl and overhead press, right?
Okay.
Which is bicep curl, right? So if you want to
Yeah.
stick with the bicep curl, that's fine. If you're like, you know what, that's boring, give me something else. Okay, fine. Maybe you bicep curl, press. Right?
yeah.
Same idea. We're just taking the motor control vertically versus down.
I think my knees are just saying hello to from the Bulgarian squats. So
Yeah, and I think that's, you know, I couldn't see, I could see you squatting,
okay.
but I couldn't, what I would, if we were in person,
Yeah,
or if you're doing a video of yourself next time, right? If you video yourself from the side, so where my couch is, or couch,
yeah,
the idea is your knees might just be cranky. I wouldn't worry too much about it. You do less
yeah.
work. Yeah,
I
that's,
was aware of the ratio and the space of how far I was going over my knee. So
yeah. The other thing is you can also think about it more. I think of this more like actually I'm less fussed about the knee and ankle relationship in this case, and how versus, I guess, comparatively versus how you initiate the squat.
okay.
So specifically, I'm less concerned about where I am at the bottom of my squat versus how I get there. And the how I get there part is, am I starting with my hip, this,
Mhm.
or am I starting with my knee? And if it's this version, knee, you squat like this. So it's 2-footed, it's here. So knee, forward, right? Or
Yeah,
hip, back. They're both valid. And I'm not saying that you shouldn't squat either way, as in one's right, one's wrong. But the knee first variation will load the knee a little heavier. So
yeah,
if you're able to initiate your squat, even if it's going to be the knee comes forward eventually with the hips, even here, my knees eventually come forward.
yeah,
This just tends to this doesn't really engage anymore because it's like, well, you don't need me. Go for it, quads. Good luck. So I tend to go with the first version, which is the hips go back
okay.
and the knees bend. So at least your hamstrings, your glutes, everything else, so something like a full like hinge, right? That can assist the quads, assist the knees. So next time you're split squatting or air squatting,
Yep.
imagine you're sitting back to your chair. Right.
Noted. Thank you.
You're welcome. Yeah, it's like it's subtle, right? It's something that maybe we don't think about. And we go into single leg variations. Right. So respect that knee. If you're still cranky, maybe just do the curl, right? Or just the curl itself. That's okay too. And pain isn't always, how do I phrase this? Is not always like a medical problem. Does that make sense? Like,
Yeah.
it can just be a request. I think a phrase like a request for change. Right? Your body's like, hey, can you not do that like that? Can you do it differently?
Yep. Just find another
Yeah,
progression or version.
yeah, exactly. It's just like kind of giving you a gentle like, can we not? That's uncomfy, right? Obviously, some pain is medical. I'm not saying on your pain. I say this to a group of endurance athletes. Some things you need to not do. Right. Once you've done 3 times through this, or as many up to 3 rounds, you can rest. Sorry for the yawn. Do you guys swim when you're not open water swimming? Do you swim near your houses at pools? Yeah.
Yeah,
Are they
I swim
friendly
at,
to like beginner swimmers?
sorry, what was that?
Are they friendly to beginner swimmers, as in people not really swimming?
Depending on the time of day,
Hmm.
but there's always like, at least where I go, there's like older people who are just kind of, they're swimming. So not super intense, but they're doing their thing.
Yeah, that's the kind of ethos I'm looking for. Because I feel
Yeah.
like a lot of the pools in the city are very like, technically anyone can come.
Yeah.
However, if you're anything that anyone who's not intermediate or above, they're like, what
Oh
do you-
no. No.
Yeah.
That's not my pool.
Yeah. So I'd be like, and I mean, pools in San Francisco are hard enough to get into, right? Like, because
Yeah, that's true.
staffing them's impossible and such. And so just sort of, and then also there's, and rightfully so, some pools are like, we don't allow swim lessons from external coaches. We don't
Yeah.
want the liability
Mhm.
unless you have your own, and that's the whole thing. So
Yeah.
I'm just looking for a pool that I can go to where I won't be scoffed at or asked to leave because I'm just floating on one end.
My pool, I'll swim with you.
Well, I would, yes, please. I'd love to do that. But I'm currently in the phase where I'm gonna float in a ball. Float like a starfish. Like that's where I'm at. Kick off the wall. Whee! I need to see if I float still. That's where I'm at. Like that's a level. Like splash in the pool. That's where I'm at. Like because I used to sink. So I just needed to confirm to my own body and my brain that I don't sink. And if I do, I won't drown. These are things I'm working on. We digress. How was that? How was feeling okay?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we have a little extra time. So let's just kind of, let's say, end or tie off the session with some gentle hip openers, stretches. These can be done, and these should be pain-free. Standing mostly if you prefer, or kneeling if you're okay with kneeling. Again, I know a lot of single leg stuff. So essentially, the kneeling version, because my camera's here, would be if I'm kneeling, my right leg is down right now, left leg is here. I have a softening for my bottom knee. I'm going to go ahead and squeeze my right butt cheek just to open the hip if I tend to not be open. If you're already open, we're not bending backwards, okay? So we're just going to keep shoulder, hip, knee, the same line. A gentle butt squeeze. If you can, maybe we lean forward. Okay. And then, of course, if you incline, you can go back for the opposite hamstring. If you're standing up, we don't get the hamstring part. What you can do is just find that split stance that we played with that split squat. Squeeze your butt, same thing, can open that a little bit, maybe a little higher, right, whatever else, or extend the back leg more to accentuate that stretch. So these are really gentle ways we can stretch, right? The other option, or additionally, right, is just a little opener. So I have a nice stance here. I'm gonna go left hand, knuckles inside of my left leg, just a gentle reach, nothing crazy. I wouldn't call these airport stretches. You still look weird doing them, but they're not on the ground because airport carpets are gross. I wouldn't touch them if you paid me. That's not true. If I was desperate, I'd sleep, but I try and avoid that. Good. And that rotation can be super gentle, right? This can be, and if you're, this is assuming spinal rotation is okay. So inside here, just a gentle rotation of. This is kind of your tabletop reach through thing without the tabletop. So anything that feels a little cranky, if anything, Carrie, I'd say later today, if you get a chance, Theragun foam roll here to here.
Okay,
Over here.
got it.
Yeah. And that can also relieve some tension. Sometimes tension in the quads that insertion to the knee can just, right. Nice job, y'all. I'll give you 5 extra minutes on your day, or maybe address any questions you might have. Otherwise, I wish you joy, rebellious joy, a little bit, and a good beach read, because